This time on Low Boost, we continue working on the wiring on our 1953 Ford F100 pickup truck. And make sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to show you what else we're working on with it too. All right, so if you guys have been following along, the F100 is getting a absolutely complete restoration. This thing got a frame off, full-on restoration. If you want to see videos on all of the process we did to it prior, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Check out the whole playlist I have on the F100. But because we did that, this thing has no wires in it whatsoever. So we have to wire it all from scratch. And I'm gonna go through how to do that in not only this video, but probably a string of videos because it's not gonna be very quick. But we went to mid 50 and got a full wiring harness situation here. It comes in a big old box. It's from American Autowire and it comes in a huge box. It has everything you need to actually wire it up. We are going to be doing a bunch of custom stuff though, because if you haven't seen the engine bay, it's going to be a little different. So we are going to have to actually do some custom work on this, but this should work what we need it to do. So let's take it all out, lay it out, and see what we're working with. I got holes underneath. I'll show you where they were. But now I'm actually going to feed everything through. All this stuff, if you look at the loom from the directions, everything that's like huge, all the big long wires, that all goes outside that cabin. So all those wires is actually what I'm running out here, and then we're going to mount the fuse box inside of this panel. So it'll be out of the way of everything in the engine compartment because you just don't want it to be seen. So I'll feed this through here, and this all goes out of the car. This goes to the battery. This kit is great because every single wire here is labeled. You don't have to look at a diagram to see what's what. You just look at it and think, oh, that goes there. So it's gonna make things super easy once we get everything through. Okay, so I made 3 holes, 2 right next to each other like that, and I have a top one there for any other accessories that I might need. And then this is gonna get twisted up and wired up, but these plastic things are going to protect it from getting rubbed on, but we're going to be able to run wires up like that all the way through to where everything else has to go. But that's how I'm running it there, and then see if I can poke it up here like that. Might not be there. So you can see that, and then we go into here, so it's all going down right through that. That's where a fuse box to get mounted up. Not bad for now. So from here, I started to wire things up. The front harness, I went over here and up. Now, I know you're saying just going up there, but if we get a fender cover, that will cover that, and I'll show you where it is on the other side. The cool thing about this harness is everything's labeled, but I went up and through there. I'm gonna tape it up a little more, and then everything comes down here. So this wire here is the right front blinker. There's a separate one that for the left front blinker. There's one for the high beam, the low beam, the electric fan, and the horn. So everything is going to run through this harness to the front. That should be easy enough. I want it out of the engine bay, right? We're trying to do a tuck out of the way of the engine bay. So I think I'm going to go through here to get everything else up underneath there. And I should actually be able to mount some relays underneath here somewhere and tuck things down. So this area here is where I'm going to be spending a lot of time mounting relays and stuff. I might even be able to tuck some of them into here on the side. So decent spot to do it, and the whole front harness is now run. So that's a good thing. And as you can see here, this is where that harness comes from down low, and then I'm going to have it coming up into here, wiring into the FiTech currently. So already did some wiring on the FiTech. This is the tack signal from the FiTech that goes into the plug here. And then this white wire here is the tack signal that goes into the gauge into the car, but I just haven't spliced it in yet. That's how it looks right now. We're doing some more work with the Ford F100, wiring up the rest of the car with the FiTech EFI system, which has been a breeze so far, but I kind of want to go over some of the stuff that we're doing because we are not doing a timing controlled setup. We have an HEI distributor, and with this setup, you can't do timing control with the HEI. You have to get a coil style thing and get a CDI box, and we just want the engine to look as clean as possible. This car is going to make a ton of power without doing any crazy timing adjustments while you're driving. We'll just set the timing once and forget it. I'm also doing wiring in the engine bay here. Got a bunch of these wires, and And because we have a new style ignition and alternator system, we're not using them. So the electric choke, obviously, delete. The 2 alternator wires, delete. Because we're using a 1-wire alternator, which is not required to do that as it says as per the instructions. And this purple wire is going to go to the starter solenoid, which the solenoid is now mounted down there. So I'm going to pull that one out and through. Only 4 wires that I'm going to use from the front part of the harness that you see here is the pink one. It's going to go to the red wire here, which the red wire will then go to the starter solenoid as well. This one here is going to go to the green wire on the HEI plug. And I'll tie it in to the blue wire that I have here for that. And then I have a wire for my coolant temperature sensor, which this intake manifold has a couple of them. So this is this here. I just stuck that there for now. And then the blue wire is for oil pressure sender unit, which is down there. Now, just so you guys know, the FiTech does this for you, and it will be showing up on the digital dash. But I want to wire this stuff into a separate point because then all the gauges inside the car will still work without the use of the digital dash. This is the plug for the FiTech that goes into the oil or water temperature sensor. So I'm just gonna get another one. I can mount it here or on the other side. I think I'll mount it on the other side. And I'm tucking everything under the intake manifold. That way it looks nice and clean. And so I'm just gonna button that stuff up now. And we should be pretty much done with the engine bay. I still got to figure out air conditioner here. So I'm going to have to run that AC wire somewhere. And we're also going to have to do the lines for the AC as well and the heat. I'm thinking of running them through the firewall or down, and I can actually tuck them in here and through the firewall and up and inside the car as well. So we'll look at that. This is all now wired up, like we said, off of that. And I tucked everything down underneath the intake manifold, and it comes out through the back here, and then I'll loom it up to go down there. So outside of that, everything else in the engine bay, that's how it's gonna be. So we are making some progress here with the truck. What's different about this truck than other 1953 F100s is that because the firewall on this truck is completely shaved, as I'll show you here, the firewall is completely shaved. So there's a little bit more customization that's gonna be involved in getting the truck wired up and ready to go. This is currently a complete bird's nest inside. But stick around because we're gonna actually show you how we can tuck this all up perfectly. Now, this is an American Autowire fuse box and a whole wiring harness. I love it. It's awesome. The only downside about it is it was supposed to be mounted over here and going through the firewall there, but obviously we're not doing that. So I ran it over here and then down, whereas you won't actually see it, and everything kind of comes out right underneath there. I have wires run to the back and to the front. All right, so this episode is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts in Mechanicville, New York. If you guys need parts for your car, any type, make, and model, make sure you hit them up, ask for Terry, and tell them that Ken from Low Boost Film sent you. In the next episode, we're gonna finish up our wiring by installing our main fuse box on this, and then I don't have a whole lot of other stuff I gotta do that's gonna stop me from firing this up, but we are gonna do the brake lines and the shifter next, so make sure you guys follow along. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.